Full Melt Show is intended for a mature audience. It contains adult themes, adult content, and sometimes adult language. Listener discretion is advised.
It's the Full Metal Show.
And now, a recap of MTV's Music Video Awards.
And the art ain't always gonna be polite. Y'all might be thinking right now, I wonder, did he smoke something before he came out here? The answer is yes. I rolled up a little something. I knocked the edge off.
Get the out there and go make Instagram history.
Yeah.
Go.
Yes. Yeah. We're going to need some extra likes. Can we get like Kylie or someone over here? All right, on the count of three, everyone is going to say marijuana. 1, 2, 3. Hell yeah. Ellen, you ain't got nothing on this.
I don't know what's going to happen tonight. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, bro. But all I can say to my artists, my fellow artists, just worry how you feel at the time, man. Just worry about how you feel.
Are you high? What are you talking about?
This is the Full Melt.
The Full Melt Show. A marijuana discussion about news, culture, politics, and lifestyle. FullMelt.com. Toll free. 844-420-TALK. 844-420-TALK.
And coming to you live from the Canalock No Smell. Well, I screwed that up. I screwed that up royally. It's the PetPain.com studios. I was screwing up our sponsorship of the phone lines. What can you do? It is live radio, and welcome to the Full Melt Show. We come to you live here every Monday through Friday from 7 until 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, talking about everything cannabis related. Medical marijuana, hemp, retail weed. It's all in the hopper. And as you can tell by our MTV millennials, weed is all the rage. I'm just saying. I didn't get a chance to watch the MTV Music Video Awards last year, and I generally don't watch MTV for music videos anymore because they don't play them. But it seems that they still give out awards for them. They really should have an MTV reality series award show is what it should be, because that's all they play now. They pretty much don't, I don't know. If you catch MTV and there's a video playing, you've caught it at one of the rare times when advertisers don't care, I guess. Oh, we got studio noise. Do we have a peanut gallery in here? We got a peanut gallery. Wait, there is a peanut gallery. It's not often we have live guests in the studio who aren't part of the show, but occasionally it happens. So I just think it's funny that that whole business, it took me a minute to put that together with the MTV Music Awards. The video awards, and then you got. So I didn't have a chance to see the marijuana references last year. All I got was the images of Miley Cyrus riding the whatever she was riding. And there was more of that this year, except some guy was setting off little cannons between her legs. That was kind of funny. I don't know. It just seems like if you look at the reviews about the MTV Music Awards, or the Music Video Awards, as they're so commonly referred to, they're lambasting about the whole all the marijuana references. One of them referred to Miley Cyrus's marijuana references as "quote unquote" ad nauseum. I would suggest that there is a solution to the ad nauseum. Use a little weed; it'll go away. I'm just saying. So, these people that want to go on a naysay about the millennials are the same ones that are going to go to the ballot box and pull no. They're just the ones. Maybe you'll get a few of those guys pulling yes, but those are the guys that are completely, irretrievable from, I would want to almost call the drug war a cult. The people who have fallen for the drug war have fallen for this cult-like mantle that's, come pouring down from the volcano of the U.S. government that says pot is bad. Pot is the end of all, society will fall apart if pot gets unleashed. The fact of the matter is, pot's been unleashed for millennia. It's only recently that we pulled back the curtains and said, oh, you can't have it. You constricted it there for about, 70, 80, 100 years, whatever it was. As soon as I'll just make an old Rome reference. Because it's the gluttony that killed Rome, isn't it? Aren't we supposed to learn from Rome's lesson? All the gluttony, all the political influence, the power and the money, the collapse of the Roman Empire because it kind of collapsed governmentally from within. I mean, when you got gluttony at fair, all you're used to is the eating and the vomiting. You go to the cafeteria, then to the vomitorium. Cafeteria, then to the vomitorium. Just so you can be a glutton to eat like a pig and not suffer the consequences of putting on those pounds. I can't eat because I'm full. There's a cure for that. Just barf. I mean, that's the gluttony that was at play there. And it's the same thing going on. The same references can be made here in the United States. Television and radio are only recent advents for entertainment purposes. It seems that people live their entire lives around it now. And it's not just television and radio. It's branched off into these other morphed out versions of digital media. I'm occupying one of them now in the field of internet radio. But there's so much of this content available now that at the click of an instant, all I got to do is pick up my mobile device, and in an instant, I can get gratification of any kind. This is the kind of material you used to have to go to the library for. You used to have to go and pull out a card catalog and look up a subject and see if there happened to be a book in the library about what you were trying to figure out. And so we don't have this anymore. No, Liz, come on. Liz, come on. Don't be doing that in there. Just sit, have a seat, please. Leave the cats alone. The studio cats and the studio dogs are for after the studio, not during the studio. And there's a process. You're screwing up the process. You don't know that you're screwing up the process, but there's a process. We get the peanut gallery in here today. It's one peanut, but
One peanut that loves marijuana, yes.
It's a marijuana-loving peanut, she says.
Yes.
She's messing with the studio cats and studio dogs. We have a whole pack in here, don't you?
No, I have the pack.
Okay, now you're going to get me all sidelined now. Let me do the show.
Okay.
Where was I at? Oh, yeah, Miley Cyrus. So all I'm saying is I was in Rome. That's where I was at. I was making the comparison to the gluttony of Rome and the United States and the instant gratification. You know what I mean? There was so much wealth, influence, power, success in the heyday of Rome that people had want for naught. They had everything at their leisure. If you want sex, there's a prostitute right on the corner. If you want food, the cafeteria is right over there. Eat all day for free. If you're full, go barf at the vomitorium and then take a crap in the brand new, what do they have? The brand new latrines. They just invented plumbing back then, so that was, something refreshing. Although, the only thing that wasn't refreshing about the latrines was the communal nature of them. And the community sponge with stick. That was the proverbial Roman toilet paper, sponge and stick. Pass that around for a couple of days. What I'm saying is that Rome and the United States are much the same in that they're democracies. They're the world influence and power. I mean, we pretty much influence just the rest of the world, much like Rome influenced the rest of Europe at the time. We are in the heyday in the United States. This is just like Rome was in its heyday. And all I'm saying is that when you get power, when you've got a populace that is busy being entertained by their own success and wealth, and they can get instant gratification for anything they want at the flip of a button, at the tap of a screen, at the click of a mouse, that you're busy being entertained by all this stuff that interests you, that entertains you, that's really not necessary to life. Yes, it's fun. Yes, it's all kinds of, exposure to things that it's interesting. It's why you gravitate there. But while you're busy being mesmerized by the magician, there's somebody in the background pulling crap at the government level that is going to impact you in a negative way, and you're not going to see it coming. Part of what I'm saying here, the whole reason I'm telling you this gluttony story, is that we are doomed to failure if we don't learn the mistakes of Rome. And what does this have to do with MTV and Miley Cyrus? I'll tell you that the gluttony that we're engaged in on a daily basis in this country, on a probably a 70 percentile factor, is keeping us mesmerized while they disenfranchise you from your government, so that when you go to the ballot box, you don't know first thing one about any of those politicians except for some name recognition you caught during the evening news and a couple of facts that you heard your friends tell you about this candidate or that, or something you caught on a news clip, a little soundbite that influenced you in such a ways that you might decide one way or another. That's all you've got to go to the ballot box with. I'll tell you, nobody knows the names of these judges. Nobody knows what their positions are. It's a nonpartisan ballot. You can't tell how they lean politically. All this stuff matters. The worm is turned in this government in the United States that it has become so corrupt you can't understand the layers of corruption to peel them apart to see what's inside that onion. That's what I'm saying. And it's the millennials, it's the Miley Cyruses of the world, it's the Kanyes of the world, and the people that follow them, and their popular opinion that will turn the worm further on the history of marijuana and just social culture in this country. It's the kids that breed the future, and they say marijuana shall reign and live free. And you better take that to the bank. More coming up.
You're getting the full melt.
Got something to hide? Canalock offers discreet and effective storage solutions that destroy odor, so nobody knows. Canalock is a patented charcoal-activated bag that discreetly stores your marijuana. Canalock is made from the same material as military chemical warfare suits. Get yours at canalock.com. Visit Canalock.com to learn more about no-smell technology.
Hey, it's Steve Green for the Sweet Leaf in Flint, because now getting safe access to medical cannabis patients in Flint, Michigan is never more welcoming. Presenting the Sweet Leaf, a brand new patient experience bringing 12 carefully selected caregivers housed in 9 separate offices to distinctly assist you with their knowledge and reputation for excellent patient care. Classes and training coming soon in the large community room. Check it out in person, 400 South Door Highway, or call 810-259-2571. The Sweet Leaf Center in Flint, 810-259-2571.
Get growing with GrowMax. Indoor, outdoor, beginner, or a warehouse full of Gavitas. Probiotic organics, or huge production with Max Power monster aeroponics systems. We can help you rock it. YouTube GrowMax with 2 X's. Customer service is why we're blowing up. And I'm Dave. My cell number is 906-221-2111. We also specialize in electrical and HVAC and new double-ended bulb technology. 906-221-2111. Get growing. GrowMax.
Introducing Sacred Elements, a place for natural and alternative healing for the mind, body, and soul. Sacred Elements. It's It's one place, all solutions.
Registered, licensed, certified, ordained.
Sacred Elements.
Massage, hypnosis, Reiki,
Sacred Elements.
raindrop, aroma and color therapy, body detox, ministry, life coaching, weight and nutrition counseling.
Sacred Elements. Next to the Sweet Leaf, 400 South Dordt Highway, Flint.
11 to 7 daily, closed Sunday.
Call 810-259-2570.
Young students are our future. They're eager to learn, eager to succeed, eager to make the world a better place. And they want to make it to school safely. Share the road, take care when passing, and always leave 3 feet between you and people on bikes. Bikes are legal road vehicles. We're all drivers.
Don't miss the first ever cannabis competition this year as the prize contest moves from Amsterdam to Jamaica. That's right, it's all Jamaican fun now with the Big Cup competition in Negril this November. Get your best travel accommodations now at JamaicaPot.com. Pack your beach bong and swimsuit and party down at the warm sandy beaches of Negril, Jamaica for the first ever big cannabis event this year. Do it in style or come have fun on a budget. Best travel prices now at JamaicaPot.com. That's JamaicaPot.com.
It's the Full Melt Radio Show.
Radio show.
Back here, I just got to say that there was a story that kind of, I don't know, sickened me.
Went to the moped store.
There was a story that was in the, and this is, I don't know, it's a little bit graphic. So if you got graphic issues, plug your ears or do something. Get the kids out of the room. I don't know. I don't even know that I should be saying that. What I'm saying is that there was this. Okay, maybe I should. There was this article I saw that was posted by a friend of mine that does another radio show on a regular radio station somewhere else. And he posted this article about how this girl had used oral sex as a method by which to get pregnant. Now, most people would cross their eyes at you and say, you can't get pregnant from oral sex. You can the way she did it. That's all I'm saying. She decided to reserve something in her mouth there and go use it in another way that she ended up getting pregnant from. And then she used this method to go back and point at the father and say, he's the one that got me pregnant, and you need to pay child support. This is your child. So that's what, but there may be another foe out there to your semen, and that is marijuana. Smoking pot, says the USA Today, could damage your semen quality or suggests a new study out of Denmark. Some 1,215 Danish men aging 18 to 28 were asked about their drug use over the past 3 months and provided a semen sample. Did they pay these guys for this? The research, I'm just saying it wouldn't be hard to find these people to answer this question and provide said sample. The researchers found, why are they doing this? The researchers found a correlation between men who smoked pot more than once weekly and quite a lot of a drop in sperm count. The count was an average 29% lower in these men than in those who reported lighter or no usage. Those who reported additional drug use, anything from cocaine to ecstasy, saw even more severe of a reduction, with an average sperm count down 55%. That's over half. Our findings are of public interest as marijuana use is common. Indeed, 45% of participants had smoked in the last 3 months, and may be contributing, quote-unquote, to recent reports of poor semen quality. This says the University of Copenhagen researchers, as they write in the American Journal of Epidemiology. There could be two things going on, they say. They told Live Science it's possible the interaction between THC and receptors in the testes causes the drop, or it might not be the marijuana at all. We cannot exclude the possibility that the men used marijuana generally have an unhealthier lifestyle and health behavior, which may also affect their semen quality and hormone levels, said the researchers. They did, however, take into account caffeine, alcohol, and cigarette consumption, and the tie still held. A 2014 study found that pot usage was strongly associated with, quote, abdominal sperm morphology, end quote, reported the Fox News. This article originally appeared on the Newser. It's called Newser, What Marijuana May Do to Sperm. So USA Today picked it up. And I would too. It seems to me that the people like Hillary Clinton, the Hillary Clintons of the world, and there are a number of them, Dianne Feinstein, a whole bunch of them, who seem to be kind of anti-marijuana. Hillary won't reveal. It's always, Governor Snyder in Michigan never revealed either until he got into office. He still hasn't revealed except through policy initiatives. Oh, if they're not going to tell you what their policy is, beware. If you've got a question and the politician dances around the answer like Hillary Clinton does around weed, her answer about pot recently, when she started campaigning again, which was very recently, her answer was, I think we need more study. That's just a layman's answer for or a way around dancing around the question. I know you have an answer to this question in your head. You're just not going to reveal it and instead say, let's do some more research. Of course, that's the safe place to land. Just in case there's some prohibitionists you're trying to keep on your voting tally. I say drop them. Let them vote for the Donald Trumps of the world. Let them follow in the footsteps of Ted Cruz and, some of these, Rick Santorum, the anti-pot lobby, the Tea Party Republicans. It's all a hodgepodge of name-dropping and disenfranchisement is what it is. Because all of these people, all of them, as vitriolic as they are against each other, even within their own party until the primary ends, as vitriolic as they are towards each other and then each party towards each party, they're all on the same side of big government, big money. They'll hide under any skirt they can hide under, but they're all in the same pockets of the guys that give them money to get reelected. So that you've got the name recognition tied to your TV or your radio or your newspaper or your internet article about that person's name. There are people like Donald Trump, like Chris Christie, like Ted Cruz, like Elizabeth Warren, like Bernie Sanders, who do have things to say, who are out there in the public giving you their opine, giving you their position. But save for everybody, I would say, except for perhaps Warren and Sanders, I say they're all beholden to big money politics. And in a day and an age where the Supreme Court in Citizens United says money equals free speech, the people with the most money are going to have the most speech, aren't they? And they're the ones giving you the name recognition. They're the ones paying for that. So that when you go to the polls, you go, you know what? I know Mr. Sanders. I know Bernie Sanders. I'm going to pull for him because that's the one I'm familiar with. And perhaps they're relying on the idea that you might have some negative association attached to some other name. Like people do with Ted Cruz, trying to shut down the government. And don't think that that's not going to happen again in the coming session. That they're not going to do a government shutdown again. Threaten your Social Security checks and the all the things that you rely on in government for public works and services. We're going to put that to a screeching halt over some stupid ideal that they know they aren't going to pass anyways because they don't have the popularity to pull it off. They just want you to pay attention. They want their 15 minutes of fame so they can get some name recognition for the next damn election. And that's all it really comes down to. It is a never-ending cycle of hocus pocus. Here I am, here I'm not. He said, she said, flip-flop, flip-flop. Please vote for me. I endorsed this message. But you know what? If I couldn't endorse this message, a whole bunch of other people have a voice louder than mine because they got more money than me. And they're not even connected to my campaign. They're just conduits for position. People who like me are paying for their own commercials to make sure that I get elected so that you'll recognize my name when you get to that ballot box and like me. The ballot box is a convoluted old form of Facebook liking, isn't it? Every day on Facebook, when you press like, you're voting for something, aren't you? If you don't press like and you were exposed to the message, you're also voting, aren't you? You just voted yes or no to Facebook, and you don't even realize it. And everybody's keeping track of all those likes and dislikes. And so Facebook has an entire profile based on reeling you in under a social network of what kind of ice cream you like, if in fact you wear underwear, and if they are boxers or briefs. Facebook knows. Google knows. And they market it back to you. And all I'm saying in the long run is that, didn't this start out with marijuana and sperm? I never thought those would go together. In fact, I think they go for those two words shouldn't be said in the same sentence, unless perhaps you're Bill Clinton and his blue-hatted protege or whatever, Monica Lewinsky. They might argue that those two things could go together. Just saying, if it can end up on the blue dress, you never know what happens to the cannabis. Hide your. It's a good thing to seal up the cannabis just in case. You don't want any baby batter flinging around anywhere. That's not a good place to contaminate. And besides that, if it gets in there and dries up, how are you supposed to tell it's in there? I mean, it's all crystalline white already. I just made 1,000 people look in their bags right now and question what's in there. So, that ties into another story about testing. Because, if you're looking in your bag, you do. This is a natural transition. I didn't plan this. It's really important to people to know what's in their bag. And so there's this new industry arising. And I build this. Did I put the link in here? I don't even know if I did put the link in. The Wild West of marijuana pesticides. A side effect of a federal drug law has left legal pot farmers without any approved pesticides. And as a result, many have turned to harmful chemicals to protect their crop. And this is an old story here in Michigan. We know. California knows. Colorado knows. Washington, Oregon, Alaska, Hawaii. They all know not to use pesticides, and when it's okay, you could, if you could use them. I would never use pesticides on a product that you're going to consume. And now that I'm finding information out that I'm finding by researchers and studies, my jaw is on the ground, and now I'm a bigger pusher for organic foods than ever. I can't. I really don't want to reveal it yet. I'm not going to, in fact. But when that story breaks, and I'm going to break it for you here, it's going to be big. I'll just leave that at that. Growing marijuana takes vigilance, even when it's legal, according to The Atlantic. Like any crop, cannabis plants are prone to pests and disease from tiny leaf-sucking spider mites, which can spawn a new generation in less than a week, to powdery mildew, a fungus that forms a talcum-like coating on leaves and spreads rapidly through greenhouses. For every other agricultural product, there's a relatively clear solution. Quote, find a pesticide label for these specific plant or settings and apply it according to the instructions, end quote, says the article. Not so with pot. Now, why would that be? Well, discrepancies between state and federal laws have left cannabis farmers without any pesticides approved for use on their crops. And as a result, some growers have taken the matter into their own hands, treating their plants with alarmingly high levels of pesticides intended for other uses. You have to understand that although marijuana is an herb and as a flower, it could be considered ornamental, but that's not why you're growing it. Let's just be real. Ornamental flowers, you can put all kinds of stuff on to make them pretty and smell good, but you don't want to consume them. This is why you wash your apples when you get them home, or you wash your grapes when you get them back from the orchard, because you know how they got that way in the first place? They sprayed them with pesticides to keep the bugs off. And even though they wash that stuff, it's rained and all kind, you still want to get all that residual off. Pesticides in the human body have awful consequences. No, I got this story's going to tug at me because, man, I know the stuff that I know is mind-blowing, and I can't talk about it because I've got to reveal this story when it comes. It's not about this. Although recreational marijuana is now legal in 4 states and the District of Columbia, and medical use is allowed in 19 more, the drug is still illegal at the federal level. The Drug Enforcement Agency, as you know, classifies it as a Schedule I substance, considered the most dangerous, along with ecstasy, heroin, LSD, Quaaludes, and peyote. As far as pesticides, the Environmental Protection Agency is responsible for registering the labels that guide use across the country. These labels, which explicitly state how and where the use of products to minimize health risks, are legal contracts. States can't allow the use of pesticides that aren't approved at the federal level. Because of its Schedule I status, though, no label for marijuana exists, meaning cannabis farmers are left in agricultural limbo. So the issue with marijuana is there's no federal oversight provided. The Environmental Protection Agency is not saying which products should be used and shouldn't be used, which you get with every other agricultural crop that's out there, says Randy Simmons, the deputy director of the Washington State Liquor and Cannabis Board. So a lot of it right now is just trying to go down this dark alley to figure out what works, what doesn't work, what's best for the consumer. Without that oversight, some states are creating their own lists of approved marijuana pesticides. I would example the departments of, the article examples, the departments of agriculture in Colorado and Washington, both of which have legalized recreational and medical marijuana, offer information on pesticides that may skirt the legal issues. Most of the products they name contain active ingredients that have low toxicity and are considered minimal risk, like petroleum oil, soap, and sulfur, making them exempt from EPA rules on pesticide residues. The trouble is the low toxicity of these products means most of them aren't powerful enough to protect plants from spider mites, powdery mildew, or other problems marijuana growers commonly face. Some of the tolerance-exempt pesticides have some efficacy, but if you have a severe infestation or outbreak, these aren't necessarily the products you would use. This according to Eric Johansson, a policy assistant for registration services at the Washington State Department of Agriculture. Now, since more effective pesticides aren't legally available, some growers have been sneaking in the use of stronger and potentially harmful chemicals. An investigation by the Oregonian in June found medical marijuana products on dispensary shelves that had allegedly tested clean for pesticides actually contained residues from household roach killers and other materials that shouldn't be used on consumable crops. You can't use the stuff you use on ornamentals for indoor flowers. You can't go to Kroger or you can't go to Walmart and expect you'll find something you can put on these plants to get rid of spider mites. It's a specialized thing. Look into it. Perhaps we'll do another show on spider mites at a future date. It won't be now, but don't use those pesticides.
You're getting the full melt.
Get ready, let's go. Hey now, na na na. Oh, hey now, let's go. Yeah, I've got style. I'll make it wild. I'll change it up and switch it up so versatile. I'll be myself and I'm gonna let everybody know.
We have the latest styles to mix it and mash it. So make it your own and bend the trend. JCPenney. When it fits, you feel it. During the JCPenney Back to School Hot Sale, get an extra $10 off when you spend $25 or more with coupon. Nike, Converse, Levi's, and other exclusions apply.
Get growing with GrowMax. Indoor, outdoor, beginner, or a warehouse full of Gavitas. Probiotic organics, or huge production with Max Power Monster Aeroponics systems. We can help you rock it. YouTube GrowMax with 2 X's. Customer service is why we're blowing up. And I'm Dave. My cell number is 906-221-2111. We also specialize in electrical and HVAC and new double-ended bulb technology. 906-221-2111. Get growing. GrowMax.
Don't miss the first ever cannabis competition this year as the prize contest moves from Amsterdam to Jamaica. That's right, it's all Jamaican fun now with the big competition in Negril this November. Get your best travel accommodations now at JamaicaPot.com. Pack your beach bong and swimsuit and party down at the warm sandy beaches of Negril, Jamaica for the first ever big cannabis event this year. Do it in style or come have fun on a budget. Best travel prices now at JamaicaPot.com. That's JamaicaPot.com.
If you're like us, your pets aren't just animals. They're members of your family. Pet Pain CBD hemp oil drops are great for aging as well as active dogs and cats. Some people are apprehensive about hemp treatments for pets. They ask us, what are you smoking? Absolutely nothing, and neither will your pet. Like other hemp-based products for humans, the allure is all of the benefits of cannabis without any of the high. The CBD oil has shown to rejuvenate the bones, joints, brain, stomach, eyes, and heart. And the drops contain absolutely no corn, wheat, soy, artificial colors and flavors, or preservatives. Pick some up today. Visit petpain.com or ask for Pet Pain at your local pet store. Petpain.com. CBD relief for your pet.
It's the Full Melt Radio Show. Radio Show.
To bring to your attention this other issue with, medical marijuana, the war on drugs. This was a story I saw today. This story appearing in mlive.com. This is a Michigan publication. And when I posted this story, there were a number of responses from attorneys and other people talking about how this is just craziness. In today's day and age, where you've got all this, I just exampled to you what young people think about marijuana at the very beginning of this show. It's non sequitur. It doesn't matter. This is not mainstream policy other than get it off the place where it puts people in jail because it's a horrible waste of resources. The young people understand this. They get it. It's the older folk that don't understand. This is the one where the ones that have been impacted by the drug message. That's the ones that I'm saying are cult-like. Because when you're in a cult, you've been brainwashed by some leader. And I'm saying that's effectively what they've done with cannabis from a cultural standpoint over the last, 70 and even more so in the last 30, 35 years. They've made this a cultural war by demonizing cannabis and brainwashing the public at large into believing that it is an evil demon seed. And I'm just here to tell you that it's not. And I'm not just telling you this because I love cannabis and I'm a big druggie. I'm not. I'm an educated person in the broadcast arena. But I'm educated enough to understand that this is buoy and wasting a great deal of your dollars, the dollars that are in your wallet or purse right now, going to waste in this place and at great pain and expense of the people that they're grinding through the system that's intended for the worst of the worst in society. The people who walk up to somebody like that policeman and shot them dead, and then when he fell, shot 14 more times. Those are the people that deserve to be behind bars and need to be in question of whether or not prison is applicable. Certainly not people with substances in their pockets. And I don't really care what substance it is. The war on drugs is a war on people. It's not a war on drugs. The drugs don't go to jail. The drugs don't bleed. The people do. And guess what? You pay for it. And I'm not talking about you, the criminal. I'm talking about you, the taxpayer. You pay for it. And today in Grand Rapids, Michigan, one of the leaders of a quote-unquote $1.3 million medical marijuana operation. I think that's a lot of buoy. See, that's more negative crap from the Kent County office, the Kent County prosecutors. Those guys over there are pigs with snouts, man. They're snorting around over there in West Michigan looking for anything pot-related because they're going to drag you off and do this to you if they can. What is this? I'll tell you. Betty Lee Jenkins was sentenced August 31st, that's today, by U.S. District Judge Paul Maloney in Kalamazoo. You know what she's doing? She's going to spend 3 years on supervised release after her 10-year prison term ends. That's right. She's going to prison for 10 federal years. She'll do at least 95% of that sentence before she'll get let go, unless they find her some clemency in the clemency dish, which Obama, I believe, is going to start liberally sprinkling about any time now. He's already been dipping into that dish and sprinkling around clemency. Now, what is clemency? It's not a pardon. It's not. He's not going in and saying, you know what, you're forgiven. There are some special circumstances around your situation that even though you're guilty of the crime that's been committed, you are forgiven. You're no longer held responsible for this crime in the eyes. It's almost as if the crime never happened. You are pardoned. It was wiped clean. It's like you confessed to the Pope. Your sins are washed away. They no longer exist. You are a new man in the eyes of the law. Pardoned. That being said, that is not what clemency is. You know what clemency is? Clemency is when they say, you know what? Even though you're guilty of this crime, and we still don't agree with it, we're going to forgive you. But not forgiven in the other way. We're going to forgive your sentence, not your crime. In a pardon, they forgive you and the crime. It didn't happen. In clemency, they don't say that. It happened, but we're not going to keep you in prison anymore. We're going to commute your sentence to something much shorter, maybe a few months from now. Give us some time to prepare your release. Use some time to process the idea that you're no longer in prison for life without parole or natural life because of some drug sentence. That you might now see the daylight of open society once again. But it's going to be a horrible thing for you to experience once you do, because time has passed you by. The world has changed, and you maybe have not. What you've been exposed to is some horrible, little bubble of crime and corruption, struggle and strife inside that prison system. You've been punished being there. It says Department of Corrections. It should be Department of Punishment. Because they have no intent in this country of rehabilitating you whatsoever. They're going to send you back out and put you back through the mill so they can profit from you again. You know why? Because there is an open checkbook. There is an open checkbook for criminals in this country. And you see it at the county and state levels when prison populations are encroached upon as far as their capacities go. You see it all the time where they'll have to release prisoners. They'll have to pick and choose who they can release because there's no more place to put them. And housing code says, just simple human dignity says you can't squeeze any more people in that cell. It's designed for 2, you got 6. So what do? You let some people out so you can make room for the new guys, because at least they're fresh crimes. Everybody's still licking their chops about those guys. These guys have been here for, in a jail's term, maybe 8-10 months. Usually in a county jail, you're not there for more than a year. If you're going to be there for more than a year, they're shipping you off to a prison somewhere. And it's those places, the federal and the state governments provide to these prisons, either through, if it's privatized through, they pay the private industry for having you in that prison, like some $36,000 a year on the federal level. It's about $33,000, at least in Michigan, average, to imprison people here in state prisons. And there's nobody saying, like, when the jury says you're convicted, or when the judge slams his gavel and says guilty, sentencing next week, there's nobody cross-checking him to say, look, the number of people you're sending away is exceeding the amount of money we have to take care of them. Let's stop doing these prosecutions and do some other ones right now that don't people there, because where's the money coming from? There's nobody saying this. So at the end of the day, we've turned 24,000 prisoners in 1980 on the federal prison rolls to 219,000 prisoners in this country, in prisons all across the country, states everywhere housing federal prisons, shipping them from one place to another, playing these federal prison games. And you think government's corrupt at the federal level outside of the prisons? Wait till you get inside. Wait till you're in there one day facing the outside going, I didn't do it. And they're all like, sure you didn't. Or what I did, there's no victim to my crime. Yeah, well, there's a bunch of dead Mexicans. Or there's some Colombians. Or there's some kid at risk. They're all nondescript. They're going to point their finger, and you're going to sit there and rot is what you're going to do. And you, Mr. Taxpayer, Mrs. Taxpayer, are pulling that toll. And this lady in Grand Rapids and her husband have gone away for 14 and 10 years successively, just today and a couple of weeks ago when he got shipped off. This is what your federal government's doing over weed. These guys didn't have a bunch of other drugs. They had weed. Betty Lee Jenkins was sentenced August 31st, spending the next 3 years on supervised release. Once her prison term ends, her life partner, Philip Joseph Walsh, was earlier sentenced to 14 years in prison Federal prosecutors say the two convicted at trial were leaders of a marijuana grow operation that used the state's medical marijuana law as a ruse while shipping much of the drug out of state. They were convicted of conspiracy to manufacture marijuana and maintaining a drug-involved premises. The government said the couple, helped by 8 others, grew marijuana more than 100 plants at 10 properties in Kent County and employed a doctor to qualify patients at times without conducting examinations. That doctor also been punished. The defendants contending that they acted within Michigan's medical marijuana law, but the judge ruled it was not a defense in a federal charge, and he's right. While the defendants have claimed that they thought they were in compliance with the Michigan Medical Marijuana Act, the government has alleged that they were not and that their compliance, quote-unquote, was merely a ruse to shield them from state prosecution. Assistant U.S. Attorneys Mark Coutrade and Joel Folson wrote in a court decision. Kent Area Narcotics Enforcement Team and U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration agents were investigating a marijuana grow operation then run by Kathleen Ann Rosengren in Cascade Township in late 2013 when she admitted to bringing 2 garbage bags of pot to Jenkins's Kentwood home. Rosengren, who cooperated, was sentenced to probation. You see the disparity here? This guy gets 14 years and supervised release. His wife gets 10 years supervised release, all at the expense of your wallet without question, without regard to whether or not you want to or willing to or can afford that imprisonment. And the other guy who's guilty of the same thing gets some probation. You see how these are the same people. Look, if this was a dangerous guy, why would they just give him probation? If these guys are dangerous enough to put in prison for 14 and 10 years, why is guy number 3 walking the streets just supervised by a damn telephone call and a piss test? That's what makes me mad about the drug war in America, because if what they said was true, if these guys were all guilty of murder, do you think they'd let that last guy go back on probation? Put him out in the street so he can shoot up somebody else and tattle on them and get probation again? No. They wouldn't even think of offering this. This is all about money, and you know what it is? These guys get money from the federal government every time they put somebody in prison. They get a win on the prosecution ticket so they can run for higher office, and marijuana is low-hanging fruit. It's an easy conviction. This is all about political persecution. It's about political prosecution. It's about political aspiration. And most of all, I've always said at the beginning of this show 5 years ago, and I'll say it again, follow the money. It will tell you no lies. That is the truth of the matter, and you can take it to the bank. These guys don't deserve those prison sentences. And if we can do anything, we should be writing to Congress and the president to get them out.
You're getting the full melt.
Young students are our future. They're eager to learn, eager to succeed, eager to make the world a better place. And they want to make it to school safely. Share the road, take care when passing, and always leave 3 feet between you and people on bikes. Bikes are legal road vehicles. We're all drivers.
Imagine a world where patients can use marijuana like any other medicine. The Marijuana Patients Organization challenges the status quo by helping our neighbors to enjoy a better quality of life. Visit the MPO at marijuanapatients.org and enjoy informative articles, engaging debates, and information about treatments, doctors, and dispensaries in your area. Over 50,000 people have registered at marijuanapatients.org since 2010. Join us at the Marijuana Patients Organization today, marijuanapatients.org.
Hey, it's Steve Green for the Sweet Leaf in Flint, because now getting safe access to medical cannabis patients in Flint, Michigan is never more welcoming. Presenting the Sweet Leaf, a brand new patient experience bringing 12 carefully selected caregivers housed in 9 separate offices to distinctly assist you with their knowledge and reputation for excellent patient care. Classes and training coming soon in the large community room. Check it out in person, 400 South Door Highway, or call 810-259-2571. The Sweet Leaf Center in Flint, 810-259-2571.
If you're like us, your pets aren't just animals. They're members of your family. Pet Pain CBD hemp oil drops are great for aging as well as active dogs and cats. Some people are apprehensive about hemp treatments for pets. They ask us, what are you smoking? Absolutely nothing, and neither will your pet. Like other hemp-based products for humans, The allure is all of the benefits of cannabis without any of the high. The CBD oil has shown to rejuvenate the bones, joints, brain, stomach, eyes, and heart. And the drops contain absolutely no corn, wheat, soy, artificial colors and flavors, or preservatives. Pick some up today. Visit petpain.com or ask for Pet Pain at your local pet store. Petpain.com. CBD relief for your pet.
Got something to hide? Canalock offers discreet and effective storage solutions that destroy odor, so nobody knows. Canalock is a patented charcoal-activated bag that discreetly stores your marijuana. Canalock is made from the same material as military chemical warfare suits. Get yours at canalock.com. Visit canalock.com to learn more about no-smell technology.
It's the Full Melt Radio Show.
Radio show.
All right, so you know what? I was going to do another story here, tell you about something other fascinating about bad police. I want to lighten it up a little bit. I've been on a rage for like 45 minutes on this show. I'd like to try and lighten it up. So let's just see if we can't. I meant to do this last Friday, but he wasn't in a signal area. So let's see. We're going to give a Monday Butters update. Where are we? I got to pull up the. Here we go. I think that's the number. Let's see if it works. Butters update. A Joe Brown Butters update.
You have reached the voicemail
man.
box of 61.
Yeah, it's not going to work.
71.
That's not good. Well, crap. I thought for sure we could get a Butters update out of Joe. He must be. I wonder if he ever got back from Kentucky. I know he went back down to Kentucky to do two things. I think he was going to harvest and then sow crop number 2 of his hemp plantation for his licensed hemp crop in Kentucky so that they can take it back here to Michigan and manufacture that industrial hemp made here in the great United States of America can be processed into CBD products and other hemp materials. And I'll tell you, there's a crap ton of it. Joe's building an entire hemp house out there in Saranac, Michigan, mostly out of products and natural things he's found on the farm there. It's off the grid. No electricity hooked up. It's going to be run by an electric grid provided by solar panels right there on the roof. Hempcrete, the foundation of this building. Hemp insulation. I mean, this is not only a home that he's going to be living in, but it's going to be a research facility so they can test different variants of different types of hemp products and their various properties. So that when you, as a hemp consumer, a few years from now, when you find a lot of mainstream USA-made hemp products in the United States, and I would suggest once again that one of those should be the hemp-made flag. Nobody's making hemp flags right now. They need to be made here in the United States from U.S.-made hemp. This is what Old Glory was made out of when it was 13 stars and she was sewn together by Betsy Ross. This was a hempen flag and should be again. We don't need no nylon flags from China. We need hemp ones made in the U.S. of A. You know why? Because that nylon flag, you ever seen one up there on a ship that's been out there tattering in the wind forever? It's shredded. Because that nylon can't withstand all that high-power wind up there on the top of a crab sailing vessel in the Arctic Sea. You can't do it. But a hemp one, you put a hemp flag up there and give it a double stitch on the side, see how long that damn thing hangs on without tattering. I think hemp flags would be an awesome thing in the United States of America. They recently hung one back over the Capitol building. Much to the dismay of many other people, they said, "What? You hung a hempen flag over the Capitol building? What is wrong with you?" I'll tell you what's wrong with you. It's this. Instead of doing a Butters update, we're going back to the diatribe. Getting back on the high horse. But just for a moment, because we've only got a few moments left in the show. In fact, it's less than 4. I think it's right in that neighborhood. I'm trying to give exactness with with a generality. Don't mix precise terms with general ones, Steve. Note to self. So where was I? Oh, yeah. This business about bad incentive, bad drug policy. This to us coming today on the Daily Tar Heel, dailytarheel.com. Data shows race influences marijuana arrests. Marijuana usage is roughly the same across all races, and I know this for a fact, but I'll detail it again here for you now, in case you don't. Predicting who gets caught is black and white. In North Carolina, black people are 3.4 times more likely to be arrested for marijuana possession than white people. According to a 2013 report from the American Civil Liberties Union, the rate was worse for Orange County and nearby Durham and Chatham counties, where the disproportionate arrest rate exceeded the national average of 3.73%. The war on marijuana was disproportionately war on people of color, said Mike Mino, a spokesman for the ACLU of North Carolina. FBI Uniform Crime Report data shows that in 2013, the more recent year for the data allowed or available to the public, 50.2% of the people arrested for marijuana and possession in North Carolina were indeed black. Yet just 22% of the state's population is black. During the past 6 months in Orange County, 21 out of 33 people charged with low-level marijuana possession were black, said Ian Mance, an attorney at the Southern Coalition for Social Justice. Mance also said, for all marijuana-related charges, 41 out of 99 offenders were indeed black. You see what's going on here? I mean, I've been trying to tell you for a long time that the institution of marijuana is twofold as an illegal substance, at least from 1937 forward. Harry Anslinger took over what was the old Alcohol Commission. Remember the federal agents who were running around busting up the barrels and breaking open the speakeasies? Harry Anslinger took over that department after the 14th Amendment happened. After Prohibition was ended on alcohol, he was given this department to oversee and run. There are people that work there. They have incomes. They have families. And what he did was he converted all those people from sniffing out alcohol to sniffing out the weed. Now, instead of demonizing the alcohol, we're going to demonize the weed. They lost the war on alcohol. They enshrined it in the Constitution. Let's shift to weed. Because that's where we'll make our money from. Now, remember, they got kids to feed. They got mouths to feed. At the federal level. And so what happens is, the part of the reason for this is, and you can look up at the history of Harry Anslinger, it's no secret. This was a social tool. It was in the 30s when Harry went around to many people in the black culture and said, I'm going to imprison you for using that weed. It's an evil demon seed. It is a slippery slope to addiction. It will make you crazy. We can't have you running around using weed in the public. But he didn't say this to white people. He said it to black people. You know what? The white people who were using weed, then known as cannabis, he really didn't mess with too much. The black folk he cracked down on. The Hispanic folk, the Latino people in America, he cracked down on them. And I'm telling you that today, the makeup of drug arrests is still the same. It's still used as a social tool to crack down, a prejudicial tool to crack down on a population that wasn't welcome in the first place, according to some. In Orange County, black people only make up 11.9% of the total population, according to the 2010 census. Yet 21 out of 33 people charged in Orange County with low-level marijuana possession were black. 41 out of 99 offenders were black in marijuana-related charges. An arrest could mean losing a job, housing, or federal financial aid for college. In 2010, more than half of the drug arrests in North Carolina were for marijuana possession, which cost the state almost $55 million a year to enforce, according to the ACLU report. Our current marijuana laws make no sense, Mino said. We're criminalizing numerous individuals for using a substance that is less harmful than alcohol and that most Americans believe should be legal. Legalization of marijuana use is favored by 53% of Americans, according to a March 2015 survey from the Pew Research Center, and those guys are supposed to be a nonpartisan think tank. In fact, if you had them describe themselves to you, they would call themselves a nonpartisan social policy think tank. They are a nonprofit organization, just like the Cato Research Institute. And they do good work. I mean, it's these kinds of watchdogs on governmental organization and policy that reveal to you what's happening in culture. These are the statistic people, the data keepers, the ones who give you the news that you can use, the stuff that's applicable in your daily life if you simply seek it out. And most people don't. They're dancing around that whirlwind of internet love affair. They're instantly pushing the buttons on their DVR for on-demand video. I couldn't watch it when it was on yesterday or earlier today. I'll watch it now. So busy are we entertained with that crap that we'll let this stuff go on in the background. Hocus pocus, bingo bango, you're voting for your own foe. And that's what needs to stop. And that's what I think you're going to see as the pendulum swings as we race towards the 2016 presidential election. Nominations happening coming up. But before that, the debates. CNN starts them on December 15th. Wrong month.
Full Melt Show is a production of TFM Media.
It's going to be September 15th.